Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Herron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And we are back with our second set of four, our second mosaic for the Fragment of Your Imagination Challenge for 2026. And so you will need a set of four from the template that we made at the beginning. And you will need a black pen, a number two pencil, and a tortillon. You will also need your handout, your free handout. And it's not too late to get one if you don't have one yet. The link is in the description. And this is brought to you by 7F5R Studio along with Muster Qual. So we have Debbie New, Ella Rieger, Gildo, Sobrino, Sonja, Richei, and Nina Dreher Goddertz. They're all CZTs too. So thank you all for your amazing effort with this project and for providing that to us. All right, so once you've gathered your materials and you have your set of four, before we start, I like to number them. So this would be number 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I usually put that on the back, and that's going to be opposite. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I like to put the numbers on just so that I can keep them straight, but you wouldn't have to if it doesn't really matter to you. All right, so we want the number 5 tile. So I'm going to remove that from the set, and that's what we're going to work with. I'm going to put the other ones to the side for a moment. And then let's see, we will adjust this a little bit and get it a little, let's see. Well, I think that looks about right. Go a little higher. You could see a little better. There we go. Okay, so we are going to get started. We have 4 new fragments. So we have Heschnu from Ella, and that's a cute little heart shapes. And then for our circle fragment, from Gildo, we have Zale3. And our triangle is Blubb by Sonja. And Nina brings us Casket for our seed shape. All right. Let's grab our black pen and get started with our squares. So for this particular one with the heart shape, when I do this one, I'm actually kind of picturing like a line down the middle. I'm just going to do it in pencil on one so you can kind of picture in your mind how it works. And this is how I think of Heschnu. So we're going to start with a little bit of almost like an S curve. And I'm starting kind of from the middle here of this half. So I'm going to come down like the bottom of a heart. And then I'm going to come out all the way over to the side like a heart. And then curve all the way over to this side like a heart and come back down. So that's how I think of it in the square, is using a pencil or imaginary line down the center so that we can get these points like that. Once you have that in, then we're going to aura that curve and this curve and ink those in. And we're going to aura that again for both hearts. And then we're going to add a little love down here on the ends of each. And you could do this on either side, really. I kind of add it where I see space. So it looks something like that. So then for the next one, instead of going in the same direction, I'm actually going to flip it. And again, I am picturing in my mind, but I'll draw it here in pencil for you. I'm kind of picturing a line down the center. And then I'm going to actually start on the right side before we started on the left side. For this one, I'm going to start on the right side. And again, it's like kind of in the middle of this half. And I'm going to come down like for a heart. Then I'm going to curve over, but meet our other one here. Come back to the center. And then curve out to the other side and come back. So it's mirror opposites. And then we're going to aura those curves on the inside and ink those in. Like that, and then add a little love in these areas here. And also remember to do another aura there, like that. So we've got those mirror images, just like that. And we're going to do that for these two and these two as well. Okay, so I'm going to rotate. And again, I'm picturing a line down the center there. And then I'm going to kind of go to the middle of the left side, curve to the center, and loop over to the right and back to the center, and then do another loop to the left and back to the center. Do the auras, ink it in. Another aura, and then adding a little love. All right, now we're going to do our flip. Picture a line down the center, and then go to the middle of the right-hand side. Loop over, meeting the other one, and come back to the center. And here, when we loop over to the right, we're going to meet that one as best as we can and come back over. Do our little auras, ink in. More auras and adding a little bit of love there. And then we're just going to do that, repeat that over here. All right. And with this one, we're going to meet up over here on the left. And then we're going to do the opposite, the mirror image over there. Gonna loop around and meet up with the previous one. Back to the center, loop around, come back to the center. We'll do these auras. And that's it. Very interesting, delicate look for that, for our square-ish shapes there. For our circles, moving on to our circles, we have Zale3 by Gildo. And you can orient these any way you would like. And you'll see in a second what I mean. But we're gonna make like a pie piece. So kind of picturing, I'm just gonna put a tiny little dot there so it makes it easier. And also picturing we already have kind of a line going through there to cut it in half. I am just gonna put in like a pie piece. But your pie piece doesn't have to go in this direction. It could go to the side, or it could go this way. You could orient the pie piece any direction that you would like. I'm going to rotate a little, and then I'm going to aura that arc all the way to the center. And then I'm going to draw down that center line. So this one has quite a few steps. And then I'm going to just aura that on both sides. And then I'm going to do a little curve and aura that. I'm going to rotate and do the same on the other side, a little curve and aura that. And I'm going to do my other two in the same direction. Again, you could orient this, you could go the opposite direction or on each side. It's up to you, but I'm just keeping mine consistent. So picturing that this is like a half and just have a little dot there so I can put in my pie wedge. I'm gonna go ahead and just put in my line there. And then put in these auras. Aura on the outside, on both sides. And a little curve, aura that. Rotate, and I've got a little curve here. And aura that. And I have one more. So picturing this coming straight through there, up there. And that is it for Zale3. That brings us to our triangles where we have, I'm just going to pronounce it Blubb. Um, so this is interesting. It's got curves and it's got little orbs in there and auras. So we're just going to do a curve in each corner. And then I'm going to do an aura, but I'm going to break that up in the middle of each aura. And then we want to put in 3 little orbs. They don't all have to be the same size. We can kind of fill in these areas. They kind of join together. Round that out. And then each little orb gets a little curve of its own, and then ink in these corners. So there's quite a few steps, but it goes pretty quickly. And I'm glad we're working with the larger size triangles here. So it looks something like that. And your little curves on the inside could be in any direction. You could have them on the bottom if you want. All right, let's repeat that. Get our corners in, our little auras with the little bit of space in there. And then we put in our orbs. A little bit of drama with this one, I would say. And then one more. Once you learn this one, it goes pretty quickly. All right, cool. And I'm already thinking with this one that I'm probably going to ink in these areas, but I'm going to wait until we have our mosaic filled in with all 4 tiles finished, and then we can add some more inking and add some more shading before we add some color. All right, so that is our triangle fragment, blub. And then we just have our seed shape, which is casket. And this is a very delicate looking one. I like to start this one from the bottom. And again, I'm aiming for the center here. So there's two ways you could do it. You could start from the center and kind of work your way out, or you could start from the bottom and work your way in. So I like to start from the bottom, a little bit of a curve here, come back in, and just come in like that. And then you can rotate to the other side. And I like to often I just work from this side and just come in like that. But you can rotate and do the same thing. But when you meet the other one, you're going to lift your pen up. So a little bit of the Halaba effect here. And then you're going to just carry it over to the other side and then just continue in like that. So this one's behind our first one. We're going to do that for each of our seed shapes. Again, we've got that Halaba effect there for each of them, but it is a very delicate, organic looking fragment. And then just one last one. Like that. Now you can do some embellishments with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of embellishing here. This is optional. Uh, so that's optional. It's not something that you have to do, but I kind of like it. You could try something totally different. For example, you could go along this side instead. So, anyway, that's Casket, and that's our inked in tile. This is the number 5 tile. I am going to take the pencil and I'm just going to do a little bit of shading here, not a lot because I'm not quite sure how I want to finish this. But I'm going to add a little shading along in here. And I can add a little shading along our curves here. You can actually do that just with a tortillon. And maybe a little shading in these areas. Like that. And then I am going to shade. So I have to kind of decide if I want to shade in these areas or on the outside of these areas. So I think I'm just going to shade kind of on these outside areas. I'm just putting Kind of scumbling that in there, like little circular motions for the graphite. Like that. And then taking my tortillon. Oh, this is a new one. Let me find an older one. Yeah. So sometimes for these projects, I don't want a brand new tortillon. I like to have tortillons that already have a little graphite on the tip because it makes it easier to work in these types of areas where you just want to add a little bit. And you're mostly relying on what's already on the tip. And I'm going to do these areas. And then we have these larger areas here. And I'm just using circular motions, just blending that out so it looks smoother, more blended. Like that. So we have that all filled in. I think it looks pretty cool. I like it. So we've got lots of different contrasts here from very delicate to more drama here. And then the intricacy of this one. And this is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of sporty to me. So lots of different styles there for our fifth tile. And let's turn it over and fill out our back here. I'll put my name on there. It's 2026 Fragment of Your Imagination Challenge. And this is days we have let's see, days 17 through 20. And it is the 17th. So for 17, we have Heschnu, Heschnu. And 18, we have Zale3. And then for 19, we have Blubb. And 20 is Casket. Yes, I do like to write all this information on the back so that I don't forget because I so often think I'm going to remember and I just don't. So I would encourage you to write that all in there. All right, let's take a moment to admire our work and to appreciate what these simple tools of paper, pencil, pen, and a tortillon can do. So we have our little mini masterpiece, which is going to be part of a much larger masterpiece. And then we can take our, zoom out a bit. We can take our template here and pop this back in so we don't lose it. Like that. So then we only have 3 more to go. So we've finished actually 5 tiles already, and we only have 3 more to go. So we're over the halfway mark. And we will come back and do more shading and maybe a little more inking before we add our color. All right, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. This was fun. It was very interesting. This is a very interesting tile. And I will see you in a few days for the next one. All right, take care and have a great weekend. Love you guys. Bye.